Hey everyone, we are back. This should be our 10th episode of this Out of the Park expansion series. As you can see here, the Atlanta Braves have won their second World Series in 3 years, defeating the Minnesota Twins. Minnesota, if you remember from our last video, defeated us in the postseason, ending our magical run, albeit short lived. Atlanta was clearly the better team, 162. Spencer Strider had a marvelous season. Looks to be a perennial ace in Major League Baseball for years to come. Logan Gilbert, who I believe they acquired at the deadline, or excuse me, last winter. Yeah, last winter. So they got him and Brian Wu, pitching prospect I like quite a bit more in real life than in this, although the fastball still does play up here. Um, for Orlando Arcia, the All Star, put up 4.2 WAR with Seattle though, which is a bit surprising. And then uh, Luis Vargas, mid-level prospect who might turn into something, might not. Um, yeah, and then Liam Hendricks off of cancer, putting up a ridiculous 52 save season, 42% strikeout rate, just ridiculous. Happy he's doing well for Atlanta. And Acuna's out 5 to 6 months, but the lineup is just very solid. Sean Murphy probably still going to put up 3 WAR with a below average WRC plus. Just a great option behind the dish, even if he doesn't hit. Ozuna putting up .8 WAR with 31 bombs, but that's okay. Acuna putting up 5.1 WAR with a 150 WRC plus in 119 games. Yeah, they're a legit team. So anyway, we're now in the off season. We've made a number of moves up to this point. Um, so yeah, let's get into some of the transactions we made. Excuse me. If we, as you can see here, Max Fried. We acquired Max Fried in exchange for our MVP candidate, Mike Yastrzemski. So Yastrzemski in arbitration, it was looking like he was gonna request about $12 million after putting up 6 WAR this past season. Based on these ratings, based on some of the stuff I saw towards the end of last season, I didn't think that a 6 WAR pace was sustainable for a guy like him. And did I want to pay him as if he was a 6 WAR guy? Probably not. So, and we just need quality players in the system. So we acquired Max Fried, who's on quite the expensive contract over the next, but it's not super long term. And for a pitcher of his caliber, who I think underperformed last year relative to his baseline ratings and his FIP, and a guy whose injury proneness is normal, and there's just a lot of things I like about this profile. I think he's a consistent 3 to 4 win pitcher, very hard to find, and especially guys who can eat innings quite like him. They just don't come around very often. So to get him, pretty expensive, but I like some of the prospects we got back with him. Let's go check on some of those guys. A couple mid-level prospects. So Cade Cooler, the 100th ranked prospect in all of baseball, who, as you can see, I retraded. Um, could turn into something. His pitches already seem to play at a borderline major league level. If you could just get the movement up, the control up. If he had a better personality class, I would have no doubt that he's a major league starter. But I liked the prospect we got back there. I liked this other guy, Cody Milligan. He, to me, right now seems like a 4A guy, a guy who's going to be up and down between the bigs, at least for our team. Great discipline and a pretty solid year in AAA last year, although didn't do much in his 38 plate appearances with Atlanta last year. Did get himself a World Series ring, though, last year, so bringing some of that championship caliber back from Atlanta. And then a couple low level prospects. Wanted to shoot for prospects that were younger than 21, even if they were a 2020 guy, just because those prospects tend to have a little bit more time and room to grow. So Tavares and then Almonte both fit that profile. Almonte's got 3 borderline major league pitches, and he's got the stamina, just the stuff, movement, especially that the control. We're going to need some talent change randomness out of him, but at least giving ourselves a shot to build up our system. In return, they got Yastrzemski, hoping he can be, for them at least, they're hoping he can be the guy that he was for us this past year. And then we just gave up a 25-year-old single A outfielder, Chris Baker. If he turns into something fantastic, we didn't really see him as part of our future here. So acquired Max Fried. We're going to have a 2-headed monster at the top of the rotation next year. Although at the end of last video, I think I did show Frankie Montas is out 7 months, which is not great, especially in the series we lose in the postseason, we get him knocked out into next season. So but once he comes back, we have a 2-headed monster at the top. And then we made some waiver claims. So Hugo Villalobos, excuse me for the pronunciation, but pretty interesting relief prospect who I converted to a starter, and I'm at least going to play him there to start next season, hoping to see this velo tick up a little bit. He's only 23, but he's got 55 stuff, 55 movement, 50 control, and 3 above average pitches. Did very well in the bullpen last year. Going to try and push him a little bit in his age 24 season. And we also picked up DJ Hers. In real life, he was picked up by the Nationals. He's on their 40-man right now. Did absolutely nothing for Washington last year in the bigs in our simulation here, but there's not a lot of 80 stuff lefties growing on trees. I think if this control can get up to about a 40, this guy could be a stud starter. I'm going to leave him in the bullpen for now. He's only 23. This, again, will also be his age 24 season, but a really spectacular arm we can get for pennies on the dollar, and we need to take those opportunities when we can. But as you can see, -2 R WAR last year. And the other massive trade we made was acquiring Jose Ramirez. So quite a bit we've done in just a month since the World Series ended. So we got Jose Ramirez and prospect Milan Tolentino, who I believe was a first-round pick in real life. Let's see. Let's just double check. 2020 draft, 4th-round pick. Yeah, he was a 4th-round pick. Okay. But, he's been up and down prospect boards in real life. But interesting second base prospect. Definitely can pick it over there at second. Probably can fake it at short. And if this bat develops, especially if he gets that 70 discipline and he could get even a tick above the 40 home run power, I like him. He might not turn into anything super special, but to get him along with Jose Ramirez, who I think had a down year last year, 250 BABIP, 1.2 WAR. If he could even get back to the 114, 130 WRC pluses, I mean, I don't need him to be the 2018 Jose Ramirez, but I think with these ratings, he's going to be great. I think he's going to be great over there, and we needed a switch hitting bat that could do that. I mean, like I said, we're trying to find unique and special guys to put in this lineup, and especially when we have the lack of talent that we do, we need to try and be creative about how we find these guys. So anyway, traded away Michael King. Obviously for Cleveland, it's pretty clear they were looking to dump salary. Michael King, traded him. They have him as a reliever now. He could definitely start some games for them. That's a good controllable pitcher. Owen Sharts, grow up, guys. Shout out PF Holden. That felt like that would be a reference to him right there. Diego Castillo, he was a guy we acquired last year. Another 4A type player. Could be interesting if he develops. He'll be up and down for Cleveland. And as we mentioned earlier, Cade Kuehler. Um, I do like the pitcher. I like the prospect, but when you have a chance to get a guy like Jose Ramirez, especially when his contract is 20% paid for by the Cleveland Guardians, I'm going to do it. He's 32. Will these last 2 years in 27, 28 look pretty poor? Maybe, but he'll only be 35. So we'll just have to wait and see. In the meantime, I think we just got one of the premier bats in baseball, and we'll figure out what to do with McMahon. And Falefa should be on his way out. Tried to trade Austin Hayes. That didn't really work out, so we paid him 5.8 in, or I guess not in arbitration, but just a contract extension to avoid arbitration. But that's the team for right now. Arbitration, I don't know if I'm going to pay Jalen Beeks. I'm more inclined to let him go, even though he pitched so well for us last year. I could try and see his trade value. And then Dane Dunn is immediate. I'm not paying you. Did below average in AAA. Was pretty horrific with us. So farewell to Dane Dunning. I'm not going to give Glasnow the qualifying offer just because I'm nervous he will take it. And with these numbers now, I mean that trade is looking like a win, even though Talkman really didn't do much with Tampa last year, but saved themselves quite a bit of money and got more value out of him than we got out of Glasnow. So good on Tampa. Never make trades with Tampa. They will ruin your franchise. Shout out Pittsburgh Pirates, although they are on the come up in real life. Alrighty, so those are kind of the big off-season moves. And from here, I am just going to end this video by looking at, let's go to league news, some of the award winners. So Rocco Baldelli wins the American League Manager of the Year, 99-63. That kind of was clear as day. Torey Lovullo, great job in real life this past season, getting them to a World Series, and now, as you can see, 102 and 60 in 2024. Though I don't know why it's not showing up with the 2023. Could be a glitch with a live start, but regardless, great job, Torey Lovullo. Thought they were going to make it back to the series. DeGrom wins unanimously in the AL, 235 innings. That is not going to happen in real life. I don't care how healthy he is. It's just not going to happen. But great job in this sim. And Walker Buehler coming back from his TJ experience. So two former TJ guys getting Cy Youngs. Great job for those guys. Gallen got 8 first place votes. Strider. Let's just double check that. Yeah, Frankie Montas gets seven points. And what does he come in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Brian Abreu, 7th place, and Frankie Montas, 9th place. Great job. Yeah, Brian Abreu, just a heck of a season. 98 innings, 17 saves, used him more as a stopper. 60 FIP minus, 201 ERA plus. Re-signed him for a $5 million deal. Happily give that to a reliever who puts up numbers like that. And yeah, so now we look at, I believe this is the MVP race. Yeah, so Aaron Judge wins yet another MVP, 6.1 WAR, not like 2022, but 55 bombs. Where's he at career-wise now in homers? 312. So he's got 188 more to go. We'll see if he gets there. Adley Rutschman gets one first place vote. I mean, that's probably my pick. Probably really picked to be on the dish too. Yeah, 8 framing runs. Great job to get a guy with a 152 WRC plus and a guy with frames like that. Um, very underrated. So I believe Mike Yastrzemski finishes 7th in the AL MVP, now an Atlanta Brave. If he played more than the 134, he probably gets a little bit higher, but he probably doesn't beat Judge or Rutschman. But overall, very excited about that. Just making sure none of our other guys got in. Anyone curious, DeGrom gets in there. Royce Lewis, he had a great year. Devers, 5 WAR, but probably had a lot of ribbies. Although I wouldn't trade for him at this point with these ratings, and he's playing left field for him. Okay, interesting. And in the NL, Freddie Freeman, I think he hit 370. He hit 368. Ridiculous season. 50 doubles, 20 bombs, 7 WAR at first base. I mean, just the best hitter in baseball right now. Mookie Betts coming in second, right behind him. The Dodgers are just a wagon. Matt McClain, for whatever reason, he's a switch hitter in OOTP. He is not a switch hitter in real life, but that doesn't matter because he's going to put up 8 WAR seasons on the regular. In the sim, I can already feel it. And Mitch Garver coming in 5th place. They have him listed as 70-70. The bat looks pretty good. I mean, he had a 134 WRC plus. Don't understand how he's a 70 rated player, but good for him. And then Johnny DeLuca getting involved. I mean, putting up 4 WAR. Interesting. I wouldn't expect to see him on the WAR leaders. And then, yeah, Michael Harris the second, not junior. Michael Harris the second, putting up 5.5 WAR with that 70 range out there in center field. A respectable zone rating, but not, probably doing it a little bit more at the bat than O'Neal Cruz, Juan Soto. In real life, Juan Soto the Yankee. Juan Yepes died. Okay, 40 bombs, I guess. I don't get it. 1.6 WAR in the MVP conversation. Regardless, yeah, you know what? That's gonna about do it for this video. You know what? Actually, I will go to salary arbitration hearings. Let's just make sure. Okay, Dylan Moore. Sorry, buddy. Can't be on the IL. Arbitration. You know what? I'm going to withdraw for Jalen Beeks. I kind of would like to re-sign Brujan. I would just not like it to be. How many years of service did he even? Yeah, so no, I'm giving you the minimum, or at least a little above the minimum. No. All right. Well, we might lose Brujan. Kyle Holder, that was a silly pick in hindsight. 0.4 WAR in AAA for the expansion draft, I'm saying. We're going to let IKF walk despite 300. I think he just wants a 4-year deal now worth, yeah, I will save that money for other, especially after taking on Jose Ramirez and Max Fried. Stroman, these ratings aren't going to do it for me, especially I think he wants a 3-year deal too. He's someone we'll come back to at the end of the offseason, maybe offer him something if we need some pitching depth. But I will go to salary arbitration hearings, and we will see what we can get. Now, they keep trying to trade me Nicky Lopez. I don't really care. I like Tolentino, and I like his potential more than whatever Nicky Lopez could bring to my defense. Okay, Jazz Chisholm, 0.8 WAR last year, and probably, okay, he's still cheap. Although, what is his outfield rating? Let's see. Outfield range 60. Okay, so he could play left or right, but how'd they get Evan Carter? I like Evan Carter. Traded by the Texas Rangers along with no-name prospect, another no-name prospect, Dustin Harris, who Looks like a good bat. And Cameron Colley in exchange for Tanner Scott. Okay, awesome season for him, but geez, like you give up that much for a relief or not for a reliever, and he was a top 100 prospect like that. I don't understand. Interest. I kind of like this trade, guys. I know we signed him to be the reliever of the future, and he's locked up, and I kind of like that. But we get Evan Carter. That is, let's just double check. He's got 103 days of service time. Tolentino, okay. And we get Chisholm. I kind of like this trade. If Carter's going to be Evan Carter, and I'm trying not to let myself get caught up in the Texas of it all, I think I might have to do this. Although right-handed bats will play better in our stadium, but it also gets us a reliever off our board. He could maybe even start though. That is let's just see. This might be something I sleep on and talk about in the next. Yeah, no, okay. So he really diminishes when he becomes a starter. I'm gonna sleep on this. Let me just get to the arbitration hearings. Let me see what is said. Okay, let's just go to free agency filings. I did not. Okay, so now we got the foreign free agents. Most of them are not going to be worthwhile, though some of them, like Pinjen Hark. Sometimes some of these guys would come out with an overall potential of 60-60, but you see that changeup, it's going to be awful, and there's nothing that's real stand out, especially not with this stuff, and they kind of just become nobodies. But if you can find one of them, they do want to come here a little bit cheaper than the average pitcher. So this might be a guy we look at. Let's just double check. No, 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 no. Yeah, I mean that's a superstar. He wants 26 million. How old is he? He's 28. Don't know why his potential is not. Let's see if we can. Oh, geez, he wants a monster deal, but let's see if we can get him for. Okay, money left. We did negative 13 million. Okay, so someone is going to enjoy themselves. Luis Elizondo, and then we got a 22-year-old. I mean, if he just wants a minor league contract, I'll give that to him. But Pinjen Hark might be a guy. And then the free agents that we have to keep an eye on this offseason, Marcelo Zuna, pretty good year, but 0.8 WAR. Tom Murphy, 0.9 WAR. This doesn't seem like a particularly strong class. 3 WAR for Wilmer. Bregman might be a bat, but we're not going to look at him because we just got Jose Ramirez, Seth Lugo, Shane Bieber. What did Bieber do last year? Bieber with 6 WAR. So, but it depends on if he wants 30 mil a year, then probably not. Boyd, pretty good year last year with Boston. Scherzer, pretty good year with Texas, although at age 40 with that movement, you're not coming to the Nashville Stars. And Jose Quintana with an underrated season last year with Baltimore. And he might be a guy who can eat some innings for us if maybe not at that price because we will not have enough money. So it'll be a creative offseason, probably more trading than actual spending. But if the right thing comes along, we're going to do it. And I think that our focus this offseason will also be on acquiring some international depth in the system. Let's go to scouting international. So a lot of these guys are quite appealing, especially this guy, Alexis Salcido, wants 170,000, has a 70 potential, and that's a stellar bat. The defense, we can stick him in left field, but we'll figure it out. And it's another great bat. I like this guy all around, although I don't love the personality. Salazar, he's never going to reach this, but if he does, he's Barry Bonds. Yeah, look, we got some interesting things to do this offseason. Relatively more straightforward video. Just wanted to cover the main transactions, kind of what's going on around the league. Definitely going to use this free agency pool to hopefully clean up the Wichita Roughnecks. Rough season for the Roughnecks and the Mercenaries. They're going to need a mercenary to get them out of this hole. But regardless, thank you guys for watching. The next video, I will likely go through the entire offseason and get to about spring training and just see what we did, what we're thinking about, 40-man moves, everything like that. So hoping to make it back to the postseason next year and continue to stockpile the farm system as it is devoid of talent at this point in time. But thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next week.